Hi, and welcome back to the Self-Actualization in the Age of Crisis Chapter Summary Series. I'm your host, Ron Rivers, and today we're going to be discussing Chapter 3, Systemic Actualization, Information. So we consider the human experience. Each of us inhabits a position of being a fractional observer within this larger universe of information. The inputs we receive and the outputs we project influence ourselves and others. And while none of us can really fully comprehend the totality of information that exists within any given moment, information helps us connect the dots between what is and what will be. So when we contextualize information through the lens of the 8 dignities, it represents the guarantee of access to an agency within for the individual to the world's collective knowledge. Information as one of the 8 dignities is one of the most direct challenges to our crisis of information, truth, and trust, and really allows every individual to fully express their divinity in the moment, armed with humanity's collective philosophy, practice, procedure, technology, really our collective knowledge within a given moment. So when we consider information through the lens of history, we conclude that information is a very powerful weapon, right? And that's accurate for the corporation, it's accurate for the monarch, it's accurate for really any government or syndicate or group. Ultimately, the more information an individual or group possesses, the better position they are to make more informed decisions towards their visions of the good. So in many ways, embracing information as one of the 8 dignities is a means of kind of reducing or diminishing information's power over us. That is to say, to close the gap that insiders and outsiders typically have of an information advantage, especially in the context of using it to subjugate another people or to diminish others. Now consider that both the university and the corporation take massive amounts of public funding. And typically what happens is their research is either gated behind a paywall, right? So the public can't really access it with paying it. Or in the case of the corporation, their findings and results are typically privatized and then used to kind of extract more wealth from the collective populace that funded the initial research and development of the drugs, technologies, etc. The late activist Aaron Swartz put it as the private theft of public culture. Now, an information DAO can take many forms. One might be to support public works of information, very similar to Wikipedia. I mean, that's a really phenomenal example of something that's been working really well. Certainly, there's some editorial challenges. It's my understanding that, like anyone else, their editors have biases and skew the platform one way or another. It could be to preserve their funding. As one example, it could be to kind of serve to further those types of efforts of these kind of global public works of information. It might also support physical community knowledge hubs like libraries and ensure that they're independent of state control and municipal control. And that matters because, in our immediate present, we see book bannings occurring throughout the United States. So there's a rise in kind of ignorance and fear-based things, primarily furthered by those subscribing to salvation religions, as a means to dominate, the youth population and prevent them from kind of gaining access to knowledge that might contradict popular narratives. The information DAO might also serve as a tool to kind of support journalists, and not journalists in the sense of the for-profit media conglomerates, but many of the independent journalists that are continuing to kind of spin off. It's been an increasing trend of people who are kind of going out on their own, having subscribers direct for their news, and support them by forming a guild of cooperation, providing benefits, providing credentialing, and increasing opportunities for collaboration and cooperation. Probably doing some standardization as well, ensuring that the information presented meets specific facts and checks, etc. The information DAO may also support collective humanity legally through the furthering of cooperative competition. That is to say, like the dissemination of our most advanced philosophy and practice, which, if you've tuned into earlier summary videos, really today remains trapped in a handful of monolithic conglomerates where really they have a monopolization on the most advanced philosophies and practice of the moment. We want to ultimately disseminate that information. The core goal of an information DAO and why information is one of the 8 dignities is we want to empower an individual who, within any given moment within their time experience, can direct the flow of their time experience towards creation in their own vision, and do so empowered by the collective knowledge of humanity within a given moment. What doesn't make sense, which presently happens today, is we're all kind of standing on different floors and we're all operating from different perspectives. So some people are kind of solving problems that have already been solved. Some people are missing kind of pieces of the puzzle that already exist and dedicating time to kind of further that. And ultimately, this stifles our collective potential and our individual possibilities. Ultimately, when we consider information one of the 8 dignities, we recognize its importance to really help the individual align the 2 observable infinities, right, the imagination and the universe itself, in creation to most fully express their divinity in the moment.